There's so many great artists across the Japanese music scene, but so many of them go unnoticed. That's why I'll be starting a series going over artists that deserve more attention. For this first video, we'll be focusing on music units, groups that don't fit the typical definition of a band. Some of these are my personal favorites, while others are picks from my viewers, so stick around for some hidden gems that you won't want to miss. We start off with the most popular unit on this list. In terms of Japanese artists on Spotify, Rokudenashi are among the top 50 for monthly listeners. Despite that, they're relatively niche and don't get much media coverage. The project revolves around the faceless vocalist Ninjin, who collaborates with various producers, many of them being up-and-coming talents from the Vocaloid scene. In December of 2019, at 17 years old, Ninjin began posting song covers on TikTok. Within a year, she gained over 400,000 followers, captivating listeners with her warm voice. Encouraged by this success, she took the next step in her career, launching Rokudenashi in 2021. While the project saw moderate success early on, it was their third song that put them on the map. One Voice is a gentle but sorrowful song about finding warmth amidst life's hardships. Like most of their other music, the production is more minimal, with the focus shifting between a piano melody and Ninjin's vocals. One Voice was a massive hit across Asia, notably in Hong Kong, where it topped their Spotify viral chart. It's currently the 80th most viewed Japanese music video on YouTube, with over 160 million views. In 2023, Rokudenashi released their first album and held their first live performance on TikTok. 2024 saw them perform live in South Korea and Taiwan, as well as doing the ending for the anime Train to the End of the World. This year marked the release of their first mini-album, and so far, the project has involved 15 different producers. Among them, Mimi stands out as the fan favorite, having produced all 3 of their most popular songs. Despite having nearly 400 million views, Rokudenashi remains a relatively small act, both in and outside of Japan. Their first album only sold around 1,500 copies, and they have one of the lowest followers to monthly listeners ratio among Japanese artists on Spotify. Similar to Yoasobi, if you listen to a few Rokudenashi songs, you'll quickly get a sense of whether you'd enjoy the rest of their music. Much like Aooo or Ikura, Ninjin's voice just sounds very comforting to me. It's easy to return to her music, even if her newer songs don't stand out from the older ones. A few years ago, Yoasobi took over J-pop like no other artist has done before. Ever since then, I'm always looking out for up-and-coming female vocalist and male Vocaloid producer duos. The duo that I've been obsessed with this year is NOMELON, aka NOMELO. They're made up of vocalist Miki Maria and producer Tsumiki. NOMELO formed in 2021 and have been on a steady rise ever since. Prior to their formation, both members were active as soloists. Miki Maria began her music career in 2019 with Plusonica, the same acoustic group where Ikura got her start. She then started uploading covers and eventually launched her solo career, notably singing the opening for Urusei Yatsura. You've probably heard her before without even knowing, as she was a part of the Plusonica chorus for Yoasobi's song Kunjo. With her airy vocals and vibrant stage presence, she's definitely one to keep an eye on for the future. The other half of NOMELO is Tsumiki. His family got him involved with music from a young age, and growing up, he was fascinated with Vocaloid. Tsumiki dropped out of high school to pursue music, and by the age of 20, he transitioned to being a Vocaloid producer. He's friends with a lot of popular artists, and it was actually Tatsuya Kitani who taught him how to use Vocaloid software. In 2017, he debuted with Tokyo Diver Fake Show, and it was an instant hit. The song topped the daily Vocaloid ranking and exceeded 100,000 plays within 2 weeks. Tsumiki usually strays away from pop music, but he's found success in making songs that sound both unconventional and mass appealing. Over time, he's built a strong reputation both in and outside of the Vocaloid community, having collaborated with some of J-pop's top talents. Although, after releasing his first album, Tsumiki found himself at a crossroads. He had poured everything into the album, believing it fully captured his creative abilities, but that sense of completeness left him feeling lost. Tsumiki eventually realized that he wanted to create music alongside other people, and this led to the formation of NOMELO. With Miki Maria as their vocalist, Tsumiki handles the production, lyrics, and occasionally joins in with his own vocals. The duo's name is a palindrome, and they picked such a meaningless name so they wouldn't limit themselves to a single genre. In August of 2021, NOMELO debuted with their single, which premiered on Yoasobi's radio program. Since then, the duo has released 2 albums, appeared on The First Take, and have done a handful of anime songs. Their track Shuga has been my most listened to song recently, and I'm hoping that they break into mainstream J-pop over the next few years. Besides NOMELON NOLEMON, Tsumiki is also part of another group called Aooo. They're a 4-member rock band made up of some already successful musicians. The idea for Aooo started with Hikaru Yamamoto. She's the support bassist for both Yoasobi and Mamoru Clover Z. In 2023, she approached Tsumiki about starting a band, leading him to invite his friend Suri, a well-known Vocaloid producer who can also play guitar. While all 3 of them had singing experience, they wanted to concentrate on playing, so they brought in former Akai Koen vocalist Riko Ishino. The band's name comes from combining each member's blood type. In Japan, some view blood type as an indicator of personality, much like zodiac signs. From the start, Aooo got attention from the fans of each member, and they quickly signed to a new Sony music label, joining the likes of Yoasobi and MAISONDES. They released their first album in late 2024, and it was a promising debut. Aooo showed that they could blend such strong and distinctive personalities into one cohesive sound. Since then, they've expanded their activities across Japan, and we'll be hoping that their individual track records carry over to Aooo's success. Back in 2021, Ado's album for One Piece Film Red was a massive hit. Uta no Uta paired her vocals with a variety of producers, each bringing a distinct sound. One of its standout tracks was Fleeting Lullaby, a high-energy song that blended frantic jazz with electro swing. With over 100 million views, it became a fan favorite, and behind its unique sound is Fake Type. They're a Tokyo-based duo made up of rapper Top Hem Hat Kyo and trackmaker Diaz Iwasaki. Iwasaki was influenced by hip-hop during his student days, and initially started as a rapper. Although he switched to producing at 20 and is now known for making pop and dance music. On the other hand, Kyo has always been active as a rapper. When he finished high school, he worked at a ham factory while rapping part-time. His name was inspired by his job as a ham craftsman and a character from the Thomas and Friends series. Kyo was only focused on enjoying music, so he never thought about becoming a full-time rapper. When he was around 24, he thought about quitting music. Fortunately, Kyo was convinced by Iwasaki to try to make money through music before quitting, and thus Fake Type was formed in 2013. Their first album was a promising start, selling 20,000 copies despite being sold at a single bookstore chain. They were gaining traction both in and outside of Japan, but in 2017, Fake Type went on a 3-year hiatus. The duo felt that they were no longer on the same page, so they took a break and focused on their solo activities. Ironically, it was during this hiatus that the duo came together as soloists to make their most recognized project, the trilogy of princess songs. They're great standalone songs, but the biggest reason for their popularity were the music videos, which were animated by Demon Dice. The trilogy is based on this character Princess, and each song is named after a different character. Princess is a two-faced demon that brings conflict wherever she goes. Kyo said the title comes from the phrase otaku circles princess, which is when a girl joins an otaku group and then the members start liking her and fighting over her. Now, you'll notice that there's a male symbol in the first song's title, and that's because the events are actually an exaggeration of what's happened in Kyo's life. Kyo sees Princess as female, whereas Demon Dice sees them as gender fluid because they let people interpret them as they wish. The sequel to Princess follows a musician called Mr. Jewelbox. We learn that Princess was the creation of one of his online fans, so he starts using this character in his videos and becomes famous. However, he soon realizes that people are only interested in Princess and not himself. Princess begins to take control of his life, and he eventually becomes her slave. The song was the embodiment of Kyo's popularity after Princess, but Kyo is still extremely pleased that his music had reached so many people. The last song in the trilogy sees Mr. Jewelbox try to assassinate Princess, but all of his attempts fail. His last effort is to stab her in the back, but before the knife reaches her, it's suddenly erased. It's revealed that Cruel Creator, the fan who originally drew Princess, was behind her the entire time. For trying to kill Princess, she operates on Mr. Jewelbox, leaving him alive as just a brain with no means of escaping. Princess has always reminded me of Hell of a Boss, but she was actually the inspiration for something much bigger. The creator of One Piece, Eiichiro Oda, is a huge fan of Fake Type. So much so that Princess was a partial inspiration for the creation of Uta, the new character to which One Piece Film Red was centered around. Fake-Type resumed their activities in 2021, releasing their own music and providing tracks for things like games and HoloLive VTubers. I think their music takes some time to get acquainted with, but if you're looking for something chaotic, quick, and addictive, definitely check them out. Our next entry is the oldest one on the list, and one that people were trying to gatekeep in the past. Formed in 2009, Minuano is a pop unit led by Takehiro Ogata, featuring vocalist Kaori Sakakibara. They have a nostalgic and approachable sound that takes influence from genres ranging from bossa nova to city pop. Both members are also involved with the indie pop band Lamp, with Ogata supporting them on tours and Sakakibara being their female vocalist. Because of this, Minuano is more of a side project given the long gaps between releases. Their first two albums were heavily shaped by Ogata's influences, and he struggled for a while to appreciate the latter. Spring Lovers was made with limited production time and budget, so Ogata felt as though it was inadequate, but that changed when he saw how many people enjoyed it both in and outside of Japan. Minuano would return 9 years later with Butterfly Dream, which was produced in a more introspective and emotion-driven style. They also had the other two Lamp members participate in the recording. Out of all the artists in this video, Minuano is one of the easiest to appreciate on the first listen. From Love Live to Idolmaster, Bandai Namco have done a bunch of music projects over the years. Given the vast amount of IPs they had, Bandai Namco wanted to find a means to encourage fans to play around and create with them. So in 2020, they created a new label, and from that label, the Denambu project was born. Denambu is a music-themed character project focused around dance and electronic music that's set around 40 years in the future. There are high schools with Denambu clubs, each tied to a specific real-life district, and they compete against each other in DJ battles. Each club has a set cast of characters and its own unique culture. Take the main unit, which is voiced by actual idols from Akihabara. Every Denambu club has released a number of songs so far, with each aiming for a unique sound that reflects its culture. My favorite part of the project is that it pairs these vocalists with a wide variety of talented producers. From Tofu Beats to Snail's House, I could do an entire video on the producers involved so far. If there's one Denambu song I'd highlight, it'd be their 2024 release Invisible. It's a synth-pop song that would go pretty hard in a DJ battle, and for me, it was one of the best Japanese songs from last year. Besides music, we also have a Denambu novel series, and we'll probably get a game too eventually. Another major aspect of Denambu is how it incorporates new technology. Bandai Namco developed this new entertainment system that combines AI and extended reality tech to create interactive virtual performances. Basically, they have these Denambu events which present these characters on DJ sets with all the effects synced perfectly with the music. Bandai Namco is putting a lot of effort into this project, taking a more deliberate approach rather than rushing out content. They also have plans to develop a Seoul area of the project set in South Korea, which will open up some exciting possibilities for Denambu. The most unique project I'll be going over today is without a doubt MAISONdes. Formed in 2021, it's built around the concept of an apartment building modeled after a compact 6-tatami room with many residents. Each song is assigned to a room and tells the story of that specific resident. The only constants in the project are the illustrator and this anonymous figure who serves as the apartment's manager. Otherwise, every song is done by a different vocalist and producer. MAISONdes have featured a long list of talented artists, resulting in a wide variety of styles throughout. By their fifth release, MAISONdes already had a breakout hit. Yowanahaki was the 28th most downloaded song in Japan in 2021, and it even won the music category first place prize at the TikTok Buzz Awards. Fast forward to 2025, and their YouTube channel has well over 300 million views. They've done songs for various anime, appeared on The First Take, and even did a collaboration with Hello Kitty for her 50th anniversary. MAISONdes will definitely be one of Japan's biggest music projects in the coming years. Our next unit is Tsukuyomi, led by Vocaloid producer Yuri Kanan. Named after the Japanese moon god, it launched as a 4-member band in 2020. Tsukuyomi's biggest appeal lies in the lore and storytelling of their songs, with each track based on a different novel or story. They quickly gained millions of views online, and after a year, the band transitioned into a unit, with Yuri Kanan remaining as the only permanent member. Since then, they featured a wide variety of guest vocalists and producers. Mikoto was their original vocalist, but left due to health issues and never returned. Yue took their place, followed by Juna and Mito. This ever-changing lineup is one of their biggest strengths and weaknesses. While it brings variety, it also makes them feel less like a distinctive unit like NOMELON, and more like a side project centered around Yuri Kanan. Tsukuyomi is also much harder to get into compared to a unit like Yorushika. The stories aren't as standalone as Yorushika's music videos. You'll need to buy the source material or join Tsukuyomi's fan club to fully appreciate them. You may be familiar with Kamitsubaki Studio, a creative label known for managing many Vocaloid and virtual singing talents. One of their artists that have gone under the radar for a lot of people is DUSTCELL. Formed in 2019, they're a duo made up of singer Emma and producer Misumi. Prior to DUSTCELL, Misumi was a Vocaloid producer, whereas Emma was an Utaite and then VTuber. She's the one who came up with their unit name. Emma isn't someone who has a lot of confidence, but she wanted to become a small but important part of people's lives through music. Her lack of confidence likely ties into the controversy that followed DUSTCELL's formation. When Emma decided to retire from VTubing, she was approached by Misumi about forming a music unit. At the time, Emma hadn't officially left her agency Nijisani, and so their fans thought that Kamitsubaki Studio had poached her from them. This turned out to be a misunderstanding, but Emma still received a lot of backlash for it. The pair uploaded Cult as their formation announcement, a song inspired by the movie Fight Club, which passed 1 million views in just 3 weeks. They both take heavy inspiration from Hikaru Utada and K-pop. DUSTCELL's sound can range from rap to ballads, so they try not to tie themselves to any specific style. Their first album showed their ambition to reach the summit of Japanese music. One song that caught my interest in particular is One, because after watching the final Evangelion Rebirth movie, Misumi wrote the lyrics and music for it in one sitting. DUSTCELL have found pretty good success so far, with some of their songs being used for various films and anime. They've released an album every year since debuting, so we can probably expect a new one by the end of 2025. The last unit I'll be going over is one of my personal favorites. Tayori is a music trio made up of faceless singer Isui, guitarist Tanzunero, and bassist Raku. While officially formed in 2023, their origins trace back to 2017, when Tanzunero and Raku first came together as the unit Islet. They tried to make music that makes people imagine scenery when they close their eyes, and in their early days, Islet used a variety of Vocaloids and guest vocalists. Their songs would occasionally surpass 500,000 streams, but when they started collaborating with Isui, they got a lot more traction. Their most popular track being Hakujitsumu, which pairs Isui's transparent vocals with this arrangement that has a very early 2000s vibe. It's one of my favorite songs that I've come across this year. Islet and Isui worked together on 4 other songs, and after seeing the success of their collaborations, she joined as a permanent member, leading to the formation of Tayori. The trio have since released their first album together and have done a collaboration with the game Honkai Star Rail. And that wraps up everyone I'll be covering today. There'll be a playlist with all these artists in the description, and if you'd like more of my content and song recommendations, I've started a weekly newsletter on Substack with write-ups every week without an upload. I've also started YouTube memberships if you'd like to support the channel and help cover editing costs. Otherwise, thanks for watching.